After the bell, we see Microsoft reporting earnings up to new all-time highs. However, did Powell just throw cold water on this rally? Now we come over and look at how the indices fared across the board. The Dow was down 171 points. The NASDAQ was up 31 points. S&P 500 down 7 points, with the Russell 2000 being down 1.21. We come over and look at advancing issues versus decline, and we had 73.5% of issues declining on the day. Then when we come over and look at the sectors across the board, only 3 sectors were in the green: utilities, communication services, and technology. We had a majority of sectors in the red today. And we come out here and we look, we can see we started off this morning. The non-farm employment change came in better than expected, 104,000 versus 77,000 jobs projected. At 8:30, we had the GDP numbers come out. They came in at 3% versus a forecast of 2.5. Another good reading out here. We come over and look at pending home sales today. It came in at negative 0.8 versus 0.2, and all attentions were over towards Powell today with the Fed funds rate. And once again, the Fed leaves interest rates unchanged despite pressure from Trump. So even though Trump keeps saying Powell's too late, yada, 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 the Fed's got to lower rates. You know what? The Fed said, beep, I don't think so. We are keeping them the same. And some of what Jay Powell talked about today, and we can actually see how this showed up in some of the price action we saw today. If we come over and look at the S&P futures markets, we can see after we had the FOMC statement at 2 o'clock, basically kind of consolidating, then we popped up only to come down. Now you can see after Jay Powell quit talking, after hours, we see the markets up drastically. And that's in part thanks to Microsoft being up $31 after hours, up 6% after hours. And that's thanks to earnings out. After the bell, we had Meta, we have Microsoft, we have Robinhood, Carvana, Lam, Qualcomm, Ford, ARM, just to name a few. And after hours, the markets are definitely liking that price action. However, is what Jay Powell said today going to be enough to derail the rally? Because we come over and we look at the SPY, for instance, right over here, we can see the SPY after hours, big move on the way up. We can see the SPY almost back up towards the highs of today's session. And if we come over and actually look at the Qs after hours, the Qs are right here near all-time highs, taking out the high that we saw from today. Some of the things that Powell talked about today is we should be happy the Fed is not raising rates. We come over and look at the Fed watch tool real quick. We can see now September, they are not pricing in a rate cut. There's a 53.8% chance the Fed is going to keep rates the same once again come September. We'll see how the market likes that. The Fed also says inflation starting to show up in goods. And here's a question I have for you guys. Tomorrow, we have the PCE data coming out. Does Fed Chair Powell know something that maybe, just maybe, that data is going to come in hot, or maybe the unemployment claims are going to come in hot, or maybe even more importantly, come Friday, does he know something about the labor market that we don't know yet? Are we going to get an extremely hot number, which in terms would cause the Fed to pause and not be able to lower rates like Trump wants Jay Powell to go ahead and do, even though we had 2 FOMC members actually dissenting. Now, if we come over and look at the dollar index, we talked about this in pre-market, smashing our ABC target at 99.708. Now, with the dollar going up, normally that's going to put pressure on the market. And if you guys don't want to miss the next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed. You have the bell notifications turned on for all. But with the dollar going up, what do we think happened with the precious metal gold? We come over and look at gold barreling lower once again today, and gold took out the swing point over here. So now the next stop for gold is going to be about 33.09. We breached that. Then gold's probably coming down towards this structure point right here, about 31.81, all the way down to a price point of about 31.23. Right now, after hours, the market's on a little bit of a sugar high, and we'll see if these gaps hold for tomorrow. Now, I want to make you guys aware of some amazing prop firm deals out there. My Funded Futures, 3 new plans, the core, the scale, and the pro accounts. Tradeify, 35% off all account sizes. This includes the Lightning funded accounts, formerly known as the Straight Send funded accounts. Last but not least, Take Profit Trader, best payout policy in the prop firm space. Make sure to use promo code Epitome with Take Profit Trader. All links in the description box down below. Because if we look at the NASDAQ after hours, can somebody say new all-time highs? Jay Powell, what? Let's look at some of the other companies out there. Ford, after hours, yikes, nasty little haircut on the way down. We look at Qualcomm, yikes, down 4.56%. We come over and look at ARM, yikes, down 5.7%. However, we get Microsoft out there and hey, everything is fine. Come on in, the water is warm, but Microsoft has a very heavy weighting of the indices out there. Now, something I do want to take a look at. After hours, if we look at the SPY, we see the SPY on the move up. Let's take a look at the equal weight S&P 500. Notice the equal weight S&P 500. It was not able to recover the whole entire move like we saw with the SPY. And that's thanks in part the way the indices are weighted. And since Microsoft is such a heavy weighting of the indices, that's why after hours, we're seeing the markets rally up the way they are. Now, if we come over and look at 10-year yield, once again, 10-year yield was on the move up higher, but this one ABC pattern that we had up right here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move this down here just a bit. If we end up breaking the low from today, that will invalidate this pattern for me. We'll have to look further ahead. The next invalidation point for the much larger ABC pattern is going to be down here at about 4.12%. If we breach below that, then I'm no longer going to be looking for that larger ABC pattern at about 4.861%. Now, when we come over and look at the SPY right now is right back towards the session highs and after hours thanks to Microsoft. But as we look at this, are we going to go ahead and push to another new all-time high tomorrow? We look on the 30-minute chart, you can see after hours, we're already back above value area high. Now, tomorrow morning when we come in, if we are way up here, way above today's price, then guess what? It gives us a line in the sand. If we come back below the high of today, then we can look to retarget the point of control from today. We can look to target kind of this minus development area at about 634.92. Then we can see if we can undo the move and continue lower. Right now, after hours, the markets keep on rallying on up. Now, we come over and look at the futures markets real quick. We start off looking at the 4-hour chart. Here's the ABC pattern that we had drawn out, and we've been talking about this on the live stream. Today, during the FOMC, we came all the way down almost to the 161.8. Now, if I go ahead and remove the drawings real quick, and we look at this from a structure standpoint, here's a high, lower high, and we'll see where this comes in, potentially lower high here. We have a low, lower low, and a lower low here. So so until we can break above the swing point right here, we have a minor downtrend that has started to establish. However, the Nasdaq's really trying to undo that and trying to get the markets up quite a bit. Look at the S&P. Ever since after hours, big rocket ship on the way up. We went all the way from the low today, all the way taking out the session high after Microsoft reported earnings. Now, if you notice, during the live stream, we were talking about the S&P revisit this level here. Well, we already shot right through that area. If I go ahead and remove the drawing objects off this chart, we can see right now it appears we may close above value area high, 6422.75. So that is going to be a very high probability target for tonight, for tomorrow, or the following day. If we breach below that, I want to focus on the point of control, 64.17 3/4. Anything below that, I would then want to focus on this minus development area, anywhere from 64.03 down to about 63.99. And then below that, value area low. If we stay above value area high, then I want to be on the lookout. Can we go ahead and run the highs from the prior day? We get above those highs, then that downtrend that we talked about on the 4-hour chart will then be canceled out, and we'll see if we can make a run to new all-time highs. Now, if we come over and look at the QQQs real quick, Qs today formed a doji candle. After hours, we're at new all-time highs. We come over and look at the 4-hour chart real quick. You can also see a wick on the bottom of that candle. And then again, after hours, new all-time highs. 30-minute chart, we have the volume profile. Now, here's where it's going to be a little bit interesting. If tomorrow morning we are at all-time highs in the market, that would set up a monster gap in the market. So we could use the all-time high as a line in the sand. We get back below that, we can then look to target the high from today. We get below the high from today, we can target value area high, we can target the point of control, we can target value area low, then we can retarget the lows from today. Anything below that price point, I would then want to turn my attentions over here towards the 38% Fibonacci retracement level, or some of these high volume nodes that we have on the composite profile at about 561.85. Now, when we come over and look at the NASDAQ futures markets real quick, you can see a rocket ship on the way up. Let me remove these drawings off the chart real quick. And you can see monster candle, 1 4-hour candle, undid the entire weekly range and was able to expand it even higher. Now, as we look at this, you can see we were able to take out the point of control from last week. As I said earlier, I've been saying over the last couple of days, we get below value area high, watch out for the point of control to be tested and see, can we get into this minus development area? And if you look, we came very close towards it today. We didn't quite make it down there. We came close. If we do give up the move from tonight, watch out, things are going to get pretty ugly out here. Now we come over and look at the daily profiles on the 30-minute chart. Look, 2 30-minute candles undo the entire range and expand the range for the day. We have now had a 332-point range. You can see we are closing miles above value area high. Value area high will come in at 23,553.75. Point of control, 23,482.75 with value area low coming in at about 23,462.25. Now, what this sets up is highly probable we are going to come back and revisit value area high either tomorrow or the following day. And what we can do is we can use yesterday's all-time high spike right up here, draw a horizontal line across that, and say, if we break below that price point, which we are now, then I want to go ahead and focus on a retest of value area high. And again, something I talked about, I know I talked about this morning, maybe I even talked about it in last night's video, but when we looked at the SPY today or the S&P 500, we had that bearish engulfing candle. One of the things I warned about is, wouldn't it be most deviant of the market to go ahead, fake it down, get everybody on the sell side, rip it up, take out the highs, so then you stop out the traders trying to short. Then as we break through the highs, you have breakout traders going into the market, you stop them out and come back down, and now you wrecked both the longs and the shorts in the market. Now, if you'd like to learn about the 3 new plans that My Funded Futures is offering, then you want to make sure to check out this next video right here.